All right, yeah, we're good now. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for taking the time. I appreciate it. Before we start, I wanted to ask to record the interview, not to publish the audio, but just for my notes.
Cool, likewise.
And that
Yeah.
way you can make sure everything is accurate in the review.
Cool, yeah. I'll do the same, probably.
Sure.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I'd start off by asking about your background, including in the St. Louis area, and how you decided to run for office.
Okay, yeah. In the St. Louis area, I live there. I go to college there. That's pretty much it. I'm part of the community like everybody else.
And when did you decide to run for office?
When I saw everything just start to get ridiculous, I mean, I'm sure you you seem like a Democrat, but it seems like we can both relate that the politician situation is quite ridiculous.
What do you mean by that? Was there anything in particular that kind of motivated you?
I mean, I think politician has basically come to a term to being like liar, thief, panhandler, to where like it's basically become a disgusting term just in pop culture, to where we can all kind of see that that they're not doing their job correctly. And I just wanted to come in there and be honest and like serve my country, serve my district, serve my people, serve God. Just fix what the undoing of like seemingly morons or like it seems like morons are running this country right now. And it disgusts me.
And why did you decide to run for the first district in particular?
It looks like a third world country, man. No one's done anything. The incumbent that was in place was just like in a bunch of financial clubs and basically was representing the brokest district in my state. And it just kind of disgusted me. I mean, the houses are falling over. The roads are ridiculous. The school systems are like a joke. And it just disgusts me basically, like completely, to be honest with you. No industry in North City, no grocery stores, you know what I mean?
Do you live in North City or in North County or?
I live in South City. I live in Central Williston, basically. I lived in Shaw for about 5 years now. I live in Central Williston.
And did you have any prior political experience, or what's your
No, first time, one primary, $28, and haven't spent any money on this, taking no donations, and killing it pretty much. Like, it's pretty easy so far.
Yeah, and so you're registered as a Republican candidate. The first district, overwhelmingly has been Democratic. I mean, it's been under the Clays for 50 years. It's a majority black, majority Democratic district. I mean, most political analysts would say that a Republican wouldn't have really any chance of winning. Why did you decide to run? I mean, I guess, would you call yourself a Republican first? I guess?
What do I call myself? I hold strongly with Republican values. I don't believe in a two-party system, to be honest with you. And I think that we need more than two parties. But in order to win, you need to take a strong party. So I picked the Republican side because it was the weakest party and it was easier to win.
And I mean, you picked Republican in again an overwhelmingly Democratic district. I mean.
That's what I think the data. I think if you look at the data, you're damn right, and that's what everybody's looking at. But I think if you look at reality, it's just getting more votes. And I think that basically I have a lot of things going for myself. I'm unconventional. Cori Bush split the crowd to where basically she's an extreme liberal, to where like common liberals just think she sounds insane. So I've been getting a lot of Democrats, Libertarians, and Republicans backing me. So it's not just like a traditional campaign because I'm not a traditional Republican. But I would agree that your data aims that way for sure. Like, even if I look at it, it's very obvious that in the past it has voted very Democrat. The Republican hasn't had this seat since 1949, to be honest with you, and I'm going to be the first since then.
Had you been involved with the Republican parties either in the county level or state level before?
Yes, very briefly on both. They see my, I don't know them that well, but I have spoken at their events, and I have, or spoken rather, and then I have met some of them that are very good backers and just like smart people and just like want to support me in any way, telling their friends to vote for me type things. But so I could say the same for libertarians and Democrats at this point. Like I have more Democrat officials calling me right now than than anybody because it is a Democratic district. So all the elected officials are backing me, it seems like, and then a lot of the people as well.
Which elected officials?
I'd like to not name on the record, but I would say that a lot of them, like from aldermen to bigger, and a lot of the elected officials are backing me that are Democrat.
Yeah, how would you describe your political platform, and what would be your priorities in office?
I think I saved a lot of time not just barking orders and like taking whoever gives me money's ideas. I'm basically just asking people what they want. So I mean, more or less, like I'm like 1/700th like of like my district and your district. I'm assuming if you're in St. Louis. So basically, my opinion doesn't matter in my platform. The people's opinion matters. So I've been asking them and polling and just doing a lot of things like that to speak for the people for once.
And I guess what have you learned as far as what actions you would take if you
give you like a top three give like a top three of the concerns so far? Is that what you want or something like that?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, yeah, like I'd say probably decriminalization of marijuana is huge. A lot of their family members are locked up in jail for marijuana. I think that's a huge one. Healthcare is probably tied, if not bigger, than marijuana to people. It depends on who you ask. The issue, healthcare is a huge concern to people. And then then it comes down to like the basic where our I'd say tax dollar accountability would sum up a lot of the other concerns. Because there's a lot of loose concerns that probably fly under that. Like people don't believe their tax dollars are going to roads and schools and benefiting them in any way, and they're probably right. And that's what I want to figure out and fix as well. That's crowdsourced like stuff though, more or less. What I would be interested in backing, like the most popular ideas that seem to make sense and don't violate other people's ideology, more or less.
And you said again that's tax accountability?
Yeah, I'd say tax accountability is probably like another huge one, if I was to sum it up.
And how do you see the? I mean, a lot of officials are talking about COVID-19, and what the appropriate response is to it. How do you see that? How do you see the COVID-19 issue?
I think it's something we have no idea what's going on, and anybody that says they do just sounds like a loose like idiot or liar. I'd like to see way more research into things before we start pumping out vaccines that were made in 6 months and other things like that. I mean, if you like, it's an FDA nightmare. You know what I mean? It's like it just sounds like that to me. I think ruining the economy has not been the best solution, either. So I think basically it's a huge concern. We want people to stay healthy and stuff, but also you have to like run the world still. You know what I mean? You can't just like they dropped the ball really hard. I would say at least.
I think, you've on social media kind of compared people wearing masks to people being slaves, or, call people who are wearing masks as slaves. What did you mean by that comment? Could
you repeat that? I was chopping out a bunch. All I heard was slaves and masks. Like, I have no idea what you asked me. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, I'm sorry. You said in a social media post you were saying that you kind of compared mask wearing to slavery. Said the best part about not being a fucking slave is that you can eat in restaurants without pretending a dirty piece of fabric over your face can make you death proof. So what do you mean by that?
You don't understand the context of that?
Well, I'm asking you since it's your comment.
Well, no, I'm just asking you. You seem like you don't understand it. Like, what does it mean to you, I guess? Like, first.
I mean, it sounds like you're disapproving of the idea of wearing masks, but that's why I'm asking you.
Fair. Fair. That's accurate. Yeah, I think wearing a mask does not stop a virus. Like, blatantly.
And, I mean, how do you feel about using the word slave and making that comparison? That could be somewhat of a sensitive issue for people.
In which way? Like the Asian slave trade that's currently going on in manufacturing all of our goods? Like, you think like Chinese people are offended by me using the word slaves, or current day slaves? Or like, is this like the transatlantic slave trade, which it seems like that's what you're referring to blanketly? Or is it which slave trade? Which slave trade does it offend people on, more or less? In your opinion?
Like how? Well, I would be asking. I guess I'm specifically referring to the slave trade in the United States and history of Black people, considering that the district is majority Black.
I think you seeing race makes it racist, honestly. Like, to be honest with you, I think the word slave comes from Slavic, which means they were the first slaves, and here we are now with the Asian slave trade still happening, and Northern Africa is still happening. I think if you saw race in that, your race is probably, you're projecting it onto me or whoever said this to you, basically.
And how do you feel about, the issue of policing and any kind of racial disparities therein?
I'm
talking about, police killings of black people and then protests that ensue from it.
I basically think that no one should murder people, and then I also think that destroying your town is not an accurate thing to do either. It's not an accurate response. I think crayon color arguments are ruining my entire country because people are so petty they cannot get over crayon colors. They're arguing like, "Oh, I'm black, I'm white. Oh, I'm black, oh, I'm white." Just children, like complete idiots, basically. And it's insulting to my intelligence that that's even like an issue. It's like, okay, you're black, you're white, cool. That's how you perceive yourself. That's your experience. Great. Now let's just get along and work towards common goals and act like adults. You know what I mean? But like I think the media is pushing this basically. I mean, for you to be a member of I guess the newspaper is still media. For you to be a member of that, I think that like in asking these questions, you're feeding into it basically, and you're feeding into the race divide, which is one of the huge divides of people. I think political is a huge divide. I think like there's many others, but I'm just saying like you're feeding into the divide basically by asking me that and phrasing it like that, in my opinion. But I also think people that kill people should be accountable no matter what their job is. If a dentist shoots somebody, that's no different than a cop shooting somebody. They should go to jail for murder if it wasn't self-defense and it's legally they have the legal case and proof and evidence.
How do you see yourself as different from Cori Bush, the Democratic nominee, who's, I guess, data would say is poised to take over for Clay?
Oh yeah, I'll probably beat her pretty good in November, and then also like I think I'm a lot better because I'm honest. I also don't take money from people. She's reported at least $500,000, but she's taken a lot more than that. And also she pays herself out of her donated contributions, and she just seems like kind of a con artist and a fraud to me personally. And I think that like I'm honest, and that's the difference. And I also don't take money from anybody, organizations, people, anything like that. I've just literally taken $0. So it's not a money game to me. It's not something where I could just get rich and feel special like I think she's doing. I think she's trying to feel important rather than actually serve her community. To answer your question.
Well, a big part of her campaign is saying that she identifies with people generally in the district, it being a majority black district.
That's what I mean. She's a liar,
being
basically.
Lower income.
That's what I mean. She's a liar, basically. She's taking money
Why do
from.
you say that?
Because she's not doing that. Like, what is a liar? Somebody that tells like untrue things. That's what she doesn't represent anybody but herself in her pocketbooks. She's a complete liar. She also claims to be a nurse, doesn't have a nursing license, claims to be a preacher, doesn't have a church, claims to be a good mother, kids live with her dad. Like, it goes on and on if you want to keep going, but she just lies about everything, basically. And it, on the surface, sounds like a great person. Like, if she was the person she's describing, I'd probably vote for her, to be honest with you. But she's just not.
Well, what about your background, connects you to people in the district?
What is my background? I live there. Like, so they live in the same town. I don't have.
Sure, but I guess what's been your involvement in community as far as we know a lot about Bush's background as far as what she says she does, what involvement in protests, etc. You said you're a comedian, professional comedian. Are there other? My
job background? Okay, yeah. My job, yeah. Okay, so I'm in a movie on Netflix called Rampage President Down. I have a movie coming out called Psycho Ape on Amazon soon. I am a touring comedian, a bunch of like things that were awesome before the world started sucking, basically.
Yeah, I think the Riverfront Times had written something about you a few years back, in which they had said that you were barred from performing at some venues because of statements that you made.
I'm not familiar with the Riverfront Times.
What do you say to response?
I'm not familiar with the Riverfront Times. Is that publication that's going bankrupt right now? That's going out of business, basically? Is that the one you're referring to?
I don't know about them going bankrupt. I think their owner has filed for bankruptcy personally.
So it's them. They're that bankrupt publication. Yeah, I don't have no idea what they publish, man. I don't read that stuff, and apparently no one else does either, because that's why they're broke. I don't know.
Have you been barred from any venues from?
I think there's not even a scene right now. I have no idea because like this is like there's not even venues open right now, so that's like an insane question to me basically. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what anyone publishes, or I don't see anybody doing shows right now, so I don't really like. Do you guys see people playing shows? Am I not? I don't know. Am I not seeing things clearly?
I'm sorry.
I mean, are there shows going on right now?
Not that I know of, but I'm also asking historically. I mean, before the COVID-19 pandemic, if you've been barred from performing anywhere.
Like ever? Yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Like from like shows, probably. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Okay, I think even now I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, no, that makes more sense. Yeah, at times people would just like write nasty things, like you're probably going to about me, and then basically just people would think that they can hold you back financially or something, and they could feel better about themselves and make up for the fact that they're not important themselves. You know, I feel like that's basically what it is, projection. It was a writer calling me a flawed writer when her publication's going out of business. And I wrote for a bigger publication. She got a ride for it. If that's what you're referring to, that Riverfront Times article. I used a fake screenshot to get me out of a Vest endorsement because they're that petty. You know what I mean? So you probably read that and like it'll tell you about that. And they use
this was mentioned in that article, and it's also going back to the issue of race in the district. It mentioned a 2014 blog post that you written for Thought Catalog, where you said that you wrote that Mike Brown was doing hood rat shit when he was killed, and that afterward protests in the area, and not just protests, but I mean there was property damage and stuff that made Ferguson look like a rap video. And I'm quoting from that blog post.
Yeah, if you can read the rest of the article, at the bottom of the article, it says, I think race, religion, even down to sports teams, split the oneness of God. And I think all this is petty crayon color argument. You're just trying to bait and get the best thing you can out of it, basically. You're like, look, he's racist. Ooh. Like, you mean, it's just like a witch hunt bullshit thing with no ground to stand on, in my opinion. And I see what you're doing, but it's just boring. It worked in 2008, but it's 2020, man. And, like, nobody cares about crayon colors. You know what I mean? We're all just human beings trying to live a human being experience, no matter how much you hate me as an individual or how much you think I'm whatever you think I am or whoever told you to tell me this. You know what I mean? That's how I'd answer that.
Well, I mean, this was an issue that Clay himself addressed as a politician after Ferguson, coming in with legislative attempts to reform or change, how policing works in the district.
You don't think arresting a person of murder would have solved that? I think that's a big fluff and a way to pass a bunch of bullshit. When the simple answer is to arrest the murderer. There you go. Arrest the guy that killed somebody. There we go. Wow, it's groundbreaking, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like that solves the problem. You know what I mean? All these made up rules and dumb things don't fucking do anything. They just make like emotional people feel better about themselves. And you arrest people that kill people. You make them punishable because they're gonna be punished in the next life, but punished in this life too if that's the law. You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
What do you what did you mean by saying that Mike Brown was doing hood rat shit?
I think it's a joke article and it was satire, and idiots like I guess you think it was a real article, and I was writing something truthful. I wrote that in 3 minutes in the fucking AM hours, drunk as fuck, and it blew up, and everybody thought it was a real news article, and they wanted to hate me because I wasn't in their Ivy League bullshit college, or I wasn't a part of their bullshit, and I was blacklisted from writing for 4 months. That's when you hear because of that article. In the first 4 months of writing, I was blacklisted because people read what I write, actually, unlike the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. So when I wrote, 50 million people read that article, and then they made up all these dumb things trying to call me like, you racist, ooh, like just projecting dumb insults. When people call me racist, are probably racist themselves. That's why they see race in everything, is basically what I'm saying, and that's my statement on that.
Well, connected to that, and I know we talked about it in the text, but you've interviewed the president of the local chapter of the Proud Boys, appeared with him in a video, retweeted him fairly frequently. What is your view on the Proud Boys? The Southern Poverty Law Center and the Anti-Defamation League classified them as a hate group. They were mentioned in the second presidential debate when the moderator asked President Trump to denounce white supremacists. Joe Biden, the Democratic nominee, called out the Proud Boys specifically by name. What is your view on the Proud Boys?
I don't know, really. I've interviewed them. If you want to listen to the interviews on the Anthony Rogers show, so you can listen to them and like literally hear what they say. I don't know. Now you get the source.
What
I'm
do
just
you-
some guy. I'm just some guy. So if you want to hear what they say on my show, you can. And I'm about to interview the leader, the chairman of that group, actually, too. If you want a national point of view of it, I'm about to interview Enrique from that group. Basically, he's their chairman. So that'll be up soon, too.
Well, I know the group, denies its classification as a hate group by organizations like the SLP and the ADL. But what do you say to constituents in the district who see that you've talked with them, made appearances with them, and are concerned that means you share their views?
I think it's a shortcut to thinking, and people are just looking for reasons to hate people, and I think this is one of them, basically. I think I've given no reason to endorse anybody that's on any interview I've had, other than certain candidates where I basically go, I do endorse this candidate, like Tim Gardens. I did do that for him. But outside of that, I think it's just a shortcut to thinking, and people are going to think whatever they want, and it doesn't define who an individual is. Like I could think you're anything, and you're still you, man. And you could think I'm anything, and I'm still me. It doesn't really change reality. It's just how people view the world and their experience and how they describe it.
Well, I mean, the Proud Boys have said that that unequivocally Western civilization is, or quote unquote Western civilization, I guess as they define it, is better than other civilizations, and they claim that there's a hierarchy to culture, and that white culture is the best.
Do you not think American culture is the best, regardless of crayon color? I'm not getting into the race, like a crayon color debate with you, but what do you think about America? Do you think it's not the best country in the world? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, this isn't about my opinions. I'm just reporting on what.
Oh, I was just asking you. I was just asking you. Do you not think America's the best country in the world? Hello.
Again, I mean, I'm not expressing my opinions. I'm just asking.
No, I was just wondering. I was wondering if you thought America. What do you think of America? Like, if that's like that's a really weird question. You think somebody who loves America is racist? Is that what you just said? Like, that's like insane. And I think that any organization is loose and like blame kind of like but I think they're misrepresented people. If you want my actual opinion, I think they're misrepresented people. Same as Antifa, they're both just like first wave kind of people that just want to hit each other, and because they can't express themselves with words. Antifa and Proud Boys both are really. I think the people in the local chapter, I mean, I think they have robbed of their businesses and stuff, or their beliefs from a culture that pretends they're accepting. So I mean, I think that loving America isn't wrong, but I do think racism is stupid, basically. So, I mean, I think if people are racist, they're stupid. And I think if you love America, you're awesome, basically. But that's my view, and that really doesn't have much to do with any, like, first wave organization of loosely organized people. You know what I mean? I'd say the Proud Boys are like a frat, basically, if you want my honest opinion.
Well, you've characterized Bush as a communist.
Did I?
She hasn't explicitly said that she's a communist.
Where do you have evidence of this? I don't remember saying this. That's what I'm asking. I'm not saying I didn't. I'm just like, where did I say this?
Let's see. I mean,
I think a lot of people say that. I don't think I've said that, but I mean, like, I think a lot of people say that for sure. But yeah, no, I don't think I said that publicly, sir.
Do you think that she espouses the values of communism?
I've never met her. I have no idea
communist.
I have no idea. I've never met her, man. She won't do a debate with me, so I can't get that answer out of you. So I don't know.
I think those were all the questions I had at this point, unless there's something I missed or something you want to add. Well, I did also want to ask, I talked to the St. Louis County Republican Party, and they said that they voted to support Martin Baker as a write-in candidate, and he's run in the district before. How would you say you're different from Baker?
Well, I think I'm going to win, and he's going to take 7 votes. I think that's the main difference. I think I'm going to be your next congressman, and he's going to get 7 votes from people because it's really, like, no one's in that organization. So.
I mean, how do you, why do you think that the county Republicans would vote to support him as a write-in candidate instead of
because he just wants attention. He wants attention. He basically just wants attention. Like he's just like if you ignore him, he goes away pretty much. He's just like a delusional person, basically. That's actually what the primary's for. Like whenever you want to run for your Congress, you run in a primary and then you go against other candidates. And I won that, so then now I'm gonna like go on to the next thing and win that too. And like I said, he's just some delusional person that just like wants attention. Like I hope his parents finally pay attention to him or whatever he's seeking, whatever representation of that he is seeking. I hope he finds peace and happiness and whatever goals he's trying to accomplish. I hope they happen. I don't know, but he has no chance in this race. Is what I'm saying.
I know. I think last week or some time ago, Cory Bush had tweeted something about "quote unquote" defunding the Pentagon, which caused quite a stir on social media. You criticized her for it. Why did you criticize her? And I guess what about that statement do you think is wrong?
Like I said on Fox, basically. It's Fox Channel 4 basically said the same thing. Basically, it's just insane. Defunding any industry right now is insane. The Department of like just taking all the money from an organization is insane. And basically, just handed me the election pretty much because like most Democrats just like they were already doubting her. Basically, just like okay, now I'm voting for Anthony because this lady's crazy. Like I mean, so it's basically representation of the entire community. Boeing's a lot of jobs. People freak out basically, and they just don't take her seriously now. Pretty much, is what from my understanding.
And I understand that tweet was. Espoused a policy position that
that she can't even do. That she can't even really do, which is funny. Also, but go ahead, sorry, what?
Oh, no problem. I understand that policy position is controversial, and that race is also controversial. Do you, how would you feel? Do you not see kind of interviews with a group like the Proud Boys or tweets, using the word slave to refer to people who are wearing masks as being controversial?
I think that's just your way of seeing it because you're a Democrat and you're going to try and find ways to make me look like the boogeyman because, you got your own things you can't deal with personally. So you come at a person like me, it's a strong individual, and you try to throw dirt on me or something, I think that's how it is, basically. I think you can take any interview and it's like, remember when you interview a porn star? Are you a porn star? That's like how elementary your argument sounds, basically. And like a thinking individual can see through it and, you know what I mean? Like the people that already hate like anything I'm doing or confident individuals are going to get onto it, and the people that already love what I'm doing are going to get on it, and most people aren't going to give a fuck about this at all. like basically this entire like, you know what I mean, thing.
Well, lastly, I just wanted to confirm how old you are, which is something we ask of all the candidates.
300 years old.
300?
Yes, sir.
Sound pretty sprite for a 300-year-old.
Yeah, doing great.
Well, I think those were all the questions I had, Anthony, unless there's something I missed or something you wanted to add.
No, that was cool. And thank you for letting me clear this because I appreciate a lot of that because it pissed me off when you were saying a lot of that stuff earlier. I'm just like, that's insane. I need to address this, otherwise people are just going to keep crying. So thank you for letting me record this as well, and I hope that you have a good day and stuff.
Yeah, thank you as well. I do also want to ask, because I know this is controversial to some groups, but you've used the word retard, publicly on social media. How do you view?
Could you not say that word? Could you not say that word? It really offends me. Like, it really offends me when people say that. If you couldn't say that, please.
That's what people have.
You said it too. I know we're in the same. We're in the same club now, bro. We both said it. Ooh. Like, what do you think about it now? I guess since you're now in the same club.
I'm not using it to.
You literally just said it, bro. You literally just said it. So I don't know. What do you think about it? What do you personally think about it? Ask yourself the question. Does that word define you now? Are you a person? Are you a person that like is insensitive now because you now said the word? You know what I mean? Or do you now understand context? Is that a better example of context for you now? That's my answer.
I'm sorry. So your position is that it's fine to use the word?
No, my position is that you just said it, and that I wish you wouldn't say that, and that's my position on it.
Okay, well, yeah, I think those are all the questions I had, Anthony. But thank you for taking the time. If there's anything else, please feel free to reach out.
No doubt. Hope you have a great day. God bless you, brother.